Did you know that bullying of school-aged children has become a widespread problem in American schools that would be best handled with a zero-tolerance policy? Let me tell you a story about a boy named Tyler Long who was bullied to death. Tyler was a 17-year-old high school student at Murray County High School in Georgia. Tyler was just like any other normal kid, good grades, played video games, and spent time with his family. Tyler had a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. This made him very goal-oriented and wanted things done the same way every day and done the right way. He would kindly remind his peers that talking during class was inappropriate. This made Tyler a target. His parents went to the school, but all they got was boys will be boys. Tyler started to become hollow inside, as his parents stated. They went to the school and received the same message again and again. This went on for years, until the morning of October 17, 2009. Tyler got up, put on his favorite outfit for school, then turned around and went back into his room, tied a noose up in his closet, and hung himself. His parents got to him too late. He was already dead. The school decided that they weren't going to have a moment of silence in Tyler's honor, and allowed students to continue to wear nooses to school after the tragedy had been talked about. The school denies having any wrongdoing in the issue, and says that they no longer have a bullying issue. Tyler's parents have been in a lawsuit for years with the school. The school board denied them access to other parents to allow the parents to know what was going on, so the parents went to the town meetings to inform other students' parents that this has become an issue. Our children are being bullied to death, and the schools are doing nothing about it, except for saying that kids will be kids. Let's take action and put the zero-tolerance policy effect in American schools. I'm sure you all have children, or a niece or a nephew. I have a son. He is 7. He has been a victim of bullying, not only in school, but in the apartment complex we live in. He would come in from outside crying, or home from school after numerous phone calls and visits to the school and parents' homes. I gave in and gave my son permission to fight back. If the schools and parents weren't going to do anything about it, then I was. I let him know that as long as he didn't start the fight, he was allowed to defend himself and stick up for him and his friends that were unable to. His best friend is a little boy that has autism also. The normal bullies came around one day and started on them, pushing them down and calling them names, saying that they were both stupid. Before I could reach them, my son had taken my advice and he told them to stop. And when they didn't, he pushed back. They ran off to their parents. My son's friend's mom came out and thanked my son. The other children's parents then proceeded to call the police and try to press assault charges on my 7-year-old. When the police arrived, instead of arresting him, they heard what was going on. They heard the story, and they gave my son a pat on the back and told him good job for sticking up for his friend and himself. The other parents were furious, but nothing could be done. The police gave them a lecture about how they should teach their students and their kids not to bully other kids. The zero-tolerance policies in schools should be mandatory for all schools. The bullying issue would be solved in schools. It is the best alternative to help save our children, and it's time that we take action. If we get the zero-tolerance policy in American schools, students wouldn't be scared to go to school, and they would be scared to be a bully. If there had been a zero-tolerance policy in place at Tyler's school, the students may have been too afraid to be his bully. He may still be alive today, living out his dreams with his family that misses him dearly. In an interview done by ABC News team, 2 high school students admitted that had their school been on a zero-tolerance policy, they would not have become bullies because they would have been too scared of the consequences. Also uncovered by ABC News, more than 160,000 students are absent from school every day because they are afraid to go. If the zero-tolerance policy was in effect for these children, they would not be scared. They would be able to get the education they deserve and feel safe in the environment. Now, I know some of you are asking, is it really necessary to go to such extreme discipline right off the bat? And the answer is yes. In an article written by the Global Post by Dr. Nisa Saucer in 2014, she stated that the zero policy sends a clear message and it removes the major offenders from schools and allows administrators to act quickly with disciplinary consequences that are consistent based on school policies. She also stated that teachers favor the policy because it gives them a clear guideline of how things should be handled and the expectations of them and the students. As mentioned in the article, Bullying: What Can Be Done by Susan Parson, there is no national law against bullying. Most schools put bullying into a column of racism and discrimination against kids with disabilities. leaving the children that get picked on because the parents don't have enough money to give them a higher education or higher-end clothes. The students are considered nerds because they are talented in their studies and too scared to defend for themselves. You as a parent can help prevent bullying. Teach your students not to be afraid to tell the teacher that others are picking on them. Just because they are being picked on isn't the answer. Get with your school board and figure out the policy for bullying. If you don't see a way that it could help your child or your children like Tyler, then stand up and speak out. You can become a bullying advocate. The NEA.org can give you the steps to take to become a bully advocate and make a difference in not only your child's life, but children like Tyler as well. As you can see, something needs to be done about the bullying that has infested our schools, and it seems to prove that zero tolerance is the answer. I don't want to see my son come home crying anymore. I don't want to hear stories like Tyler's anymore. Let's take action and put the zero tolerance policy into effect.